outside. Like this is dead air for a reason. Like again, it's a really, I'd say it's a balanced map, but there's a potential for some really weird stuff to happen. But with that being said, I do believe we are about to be going live right here. It's gonna be Team Silencio Jockies versus Team Euonym, and as soon as the Stupy is up for Team Silencio Jockies, we'll take this live. We're gonna be going live right now, but we'll have an early tank. So a quick roster rundown for Team Euonym on Survivor. It's Sir, Dawkins, Knock, and K3. And who do we have for the Silencio Jockies? Kiss me.
Over on Silencio Jockeys, we're gonna have Ramirez, Apathy, Stoopy, and Acer, aka Avocado, for this game. And yeah, we're gonna have that Spitter throwing itself right in there for the instantaneous kill upon itself. Hearst tackling makes its way in though. Smoker, Jockey, Charger working the way in from all different angles, looking to try and make something happen here, like a rock landing or something. But two of the Kappa 2-man line, well, actually that's a tri-cap happening. Smoker grabbing onto Bill. That's a rock onto the Jockey as well. Dawkins getting pulled out of the window up front by the Jockey. What is going on? It's gonna be a death punch. No, she got Lunchung.
And Ram dropped, actually, so he's not going to be able to keep them off that. He's going to try to climb back up. That could have been a death punch. That could have been a ledge hang. That could have been an absolute wipe right on Euonym at the start right there. That was a huge tri-cap coming out, and the tank took about 1,000 chip for that exchange right there. And the tank actually is really close, trying to curve a rock around that corner. That was almost like complete disaster wipe territory right there for Team Euonym, but they managed to recover. Looks as though Ramirez is going to get back on the top right here. I think he wants to commit this, so it's going to be a Smoker, Boomer, and a Charger coming in, down to 4K before he hits the floor, and let's see what he's able to do. Trying to zone survivors out. We do see the early pull going out right there. Boomer managing to land a single boom. Charger is going to land on that pulled target now, and it looks as though the tank is going to try to get a corner on the other boom survivor as that charge lands in the back as well. Let's see a lot of damage going out, putting Dawkins black and white. Tank is going to stay in, under 1k HP left, throwing another rock right there, not going to land. That Horde's doing a pretty good amount of damage. That tank is going to be dead. Again, kiss me, honestly, I really think that should have been a wipe after that first play.
Yeah, I'm actually very surprised. If Ram didn't end up following up building, I mean, he would have taken quite a bit of chip because all three survivors were at the double windows. And he didn't really have anywhere to obviously go, no real place to take cover in that specific area. But he made what he could happen with it. He did a lot of work on the two of the health bonuses. Once again, Dawkins lost all of his temporary upon that first pickup, so damage bonus being hurt heavily right now, actually being dropped down to 293 in total. There's a Boomer pop going out by Dawkins, but he is also black and white, and if he dies here, that's going to do a major chunk to the remaining health bonus. Even though pretty much they haven't touched much of the solid, there's still two green survivors. But, you know, if they do kill Dawkins there, that's going to do a lot of damage. And there's Dawkins actually backing off the ladder there as that spit delay goes out.
Yeah, that spit delay is going to give another spawn a chance to come into the queue right here, but there is no Smoker. It's going to be a Charger, Jockey, and a Hunter. Going in right now, Hunter's going to land onto Lewis down below right there. Charger's going in, going to try to get the angle, managing to get it, and Dawkins couldn't get the clear. There's the death charge going out onto Knock. Dawkins was unable to clear that Charger. That Charger has 37 HP left. We were worried it was Dawkins who was going to die because he was black and white, but instead, Team Silencio Jockeys hits a long death charge.
Indeed, unfortunately, that was also one of the health bonuses. They still have this Wish to deal with as well, as Dawkins is looking for it. He's hunting down that Wish. He goes to the Crown. Nice running Crown onto the Witch. That's going to shut her down. But Smoker Pull going out onto Francis in the back. Will get cleared off, though, by the shotgun to Bill. And now there's a Hunter Charger looking around to make something happen here. There's a charge onto Francis. Hunt looking for a target, but not going to find it. Boomer goes on to two survivors, that being Zoe and Bill. But the melees will be good enough to help clear off the residual common. Bill not being able to make it through the window, though. Gets pulled here by the Smoker out the doors yet again. And that is the car alarm triggered, but that will be the safe room in the meantime for Team Euonym. So they do make it, albeit short one survivor and quite a lot of health as well. But they will make it with a health bonus of 78. But they don't even get actually 400 distance because someone died.
Honestly, in that, like, all things considered from that chapter, and especially because of the fact that this chapter is a little bit nerfed due to the ace mod distance, I'm pretty sure, and at least in terms of pro mod, like, that was a pretty, like, lucky score, I would say. Like, that, the death charge going out, their damage bonus was completely gone after Dawkins got hit black and white. If he had gotten ledge hung, like I mentioned before, that could have completely turned that tank fight in a different direction. Like, I would be happy if I'm Team Euonym to have made the safe room with that much. Like, even though it doesn't seem like a whole lot, that's still like a recoverable position instead of only getting like 100 or less than 100 points here. But that was not what you kind of want to see from their survivor play right there. It was just, almost every hit did a whole lot of damage from that, aside from the fact that the tank probably could have been a wipe off that huge misplay at the start. Like, we saw Chargers landing, we saw everything, almost another tri-cap going out there at the end as well. And if I'm Team Euonym, they need to do a lot of work on SI right now, because that's not the start that they want.
Yeah, that was definitely very rough to watch, but we are going live here with the second half. I'm not too sure who the spectator is, by the way, the person with the symbol as their name. I don't know if you want to take care of that. But,
potentially, because we have a tank in the hands of K3 for Team Euonym, along with a Spitter sacking himself.
Indeed we do. So we'll see K3 go ahead and rotate himself up to the rooftop here. He might elect to actually hop on top of the fire escape and go to the second rooftop, but he would risk taking a little bit of chip here as the survivors are at the windows. We're looking for that rotation so they can get a little bit of early chip. It won't be much, but it would accumulate to around 300-400 damage if they spammed him with those Uzis. But regardless, we will see the tank just sitting here behind this air ventilation shaft and not really doing all that much. Just kind of waiting out.
Yeah, there's not really a whole lot he can do right now. He's going to decide whether he wants a tri-cap or like a boom when he commits. I think if he tries to transition right now, the survivors are going to chip him, and I think he knows that as well. So I would not be surprised if K3 actually just goes straight in right here. That's indeed what we're going to be seeing him do. So Team Euonym committing the tank, it looks like, with this tri-cap. Smoker going for an early pull right there. Nothing going, though. Got blocked by the tank, I'm pretty sure. Now that Smoker's down to about half its health. Tank's still working its way in. Survivors playing it in the safe room, as a matter of fact. And now all the SI are spawned out down below. This tank is completely lost. And now he's going to have to try to turn back around. Going back in, trying to get a punch. Nothing going, though. He is not going to land that punch in the safe room. We do have a double cap going out, rolling tri-cap with that Smoker as well, and the tank is finally able to get a hold of Acer to get that corner in the safe room. He does have one more punch, so that's going to be an in-cap, and that he actually misses that last swing right there. I felt really bad because there's not really a whole lot that tank could have done. The survivors just kited him pretty much expertly by running back into the safe room, then jumping back out. Had that charger not landed, I don't think that tank gets a hit. Yeah,
I don't think he would have landed anything at all, just as well as you would have, I should say. And yeah, we'll see Team Avocado, Team Silencio Jockies going ahead and moving the way through the map, making the way to the dreaded ladder. There will actually be a charger coming up here for Team Euonym, so they can manage to land a death charge and significantly cut down that health bonus that we see Team Silencio Jockies staying with right now. But that will be a boomer proxying out onto Bill, going to draw in a little bit of horde. But I'm sure they're just going to wait this out. They don't want to risk running out there, getting common locked, and then giving the charger an easy charge off. They don't know that he's there, though.
I mean, we could see another death charge, but it's so rare to see that happen even just once, especially without the Smoker support. Let's see if they actually get the Smoker. They actually do manage to get it, so it could be a tri-cap and or a death charge, but again, as long as Silencio Jockies are watching, they have a long time to clear that charger. We do have the hit going here now. Jockey does get skied. There goes the Smoker pull going up. The charger is nowhere near the position needed to make that a death charge. He gets a pretty nice separation charge, then does get cleared. Almost no damage going out on that hit.
Indeed, easily taken there by Team Silencio Jockies, and they're going to obviously eat that charger, as you mentioned, but that will be the end of that. Which coming up here for the hands of Ram will land it. Very nicely done by him. Good thing he did too as well, because he's one of the big green health bars left there on Silencio Jockies. Boomer coming out here on the side of the, oh god, the truck. Let's just go with the truck. Gets popped though. I completely, like, just, like, had a blonde moment there on Tractor Trailer. I'm sorry. But yeah, Jockey working his way, gets shut down by Ram. Nice skeet there by Dawkins. Oh no, that was Dawkins team skeeted. I hate servers, because some servers actually say who he got skeeted by, and some just say such and such got skeeted. So it's like, just say the first name that you see. But there's a Smoker pull by the safe room door out on the Ram. Not going to come anything of it though, and that will be them walking into the safe room. What? I hate you. And also, I did misspeak. The map was worth 300 distance. It's not 40 distance like it's on the first map or first half. I thought a long week of work, okay? I can make some mistakes.
It's alright, it's alright. So yeah, that is going to be Team Silencio Jockies taking the lead right there. 760 to 343, and despite that map distance nerf, that's still a really nice score to see coming out from that first chapter. They really, I don't even think they took an in-cap there. Like, that tank got somebody into full bleed, but it wasn't a down, so their damage bonus was in great shape, and they still had a pretty good amount of pills. And now we have an 87% tank on this map, so instead of being one of those weird indoor tanks that I talked about happening, like, before the event, this is going to be a weird indoor tank that's usually fought in the offices after the event. So, yeah, welcome to map 2 Dead Air. Let's see if anything happens during the event, like a death charge or something like that. But again, even though we've already seen one here today, you still don't want to bet in favor of seeing a lot of those happening. I'm going to keep reiterating that, because we've seen a couple, I believe in the match where it was Pubstars versus Eternity earlier today, we actually saw a double death charge going out, but if this goes the way it's supposed to, then that tank's still going to have to do a pretty good amount of work at 87%. There's a lot of damage potential, but both these teams are good enough, in my opinion, where we're not going to see a whole lot of, like, catastrophic hits coming down. At least we shouldn't.
Yeah, it's a pretty long map, but yet again, it's a very sparse map for big hits to actually happen. There are, obviously you're fighting on rooftops for quite a bit of it as well though, so there is obviously always a potential for something big to happen, as we saw in previous tournaments with this map, where we saw a quad cap happen with the legendary, I think it was Peaceum was casting it. I forget who the charger was though, but he ended up taking 2 survivors off the rooftop at once as the other 2 cappers landed on the other 2 survivors. Yeah, it was actually pretty nasty, but anyway, we'll see these survivors push out the stage from here. First round will be held by Silencio Jockies, and they'll be on the star side, obviously, with Euonym over on the SI. So let's see what they decide to do with this witch. Zoe is going to go for the draw count here. I don't know if the SI are going to throw anything on top of this. The Jockey is looking for a bit of a spawn here, though, so he might opt to go for it. But no, Witch is just spazzing out. She should, yeah, there you go. I was going to say, she's going to slide up sooner or later. But there's a draw crown, easily handled by Apathy, along with his teammates, doing a little bit of a, flak on her.
A little bit of a flacker on her, indeed. And he actually got 2,000 damage himself. They decided to save that 2-2, which I guess is the right call there, because they really had nowhere to spawn. Again, you saw that Jockey's, looking for a spawn, but there was really nothing there. The Spires had everything blocked. And, I mean, 2-2 is okay for this, I guess, because you can shoot off the ladder and there's no charger. They shouldn't take a whole lot of damage here. Hunter, Boomer, Jockey, Spitter for that aforementioned hit. Jockey spawning in the front, trying to go for the survivor on the ladder, not going to land. Spit does go down, and we just see the pounce landing with a Jockey on the survivor up top into Spit as well. Ramirez is going to take a lot of damage, and that's really the only way you can see that happen with a separation like that in an enclosed area. That obviously, because the survivor wasn't able to get that shutdown on that Jockey right away, that's why that 2-2 was able to do a whole lot of damage. So good play by Team Euonym to make up after that Witch.
Indeed, absolutely beautiful hit there, especially for what it was. That Boomer and Spitter doing work, showing that supports are not completely useless in this game, and you don't need a charger to really make those big plays happen either. But we'll see a team at Silencio Jockies pushing the way through the map here, making their way to the event. They know that the spawn timers are back up though, so there's going to be another hit here waiting for them as they try and trigger this event. For those that do not know what this map is or what this event is in specific, the survivors have to climb up on top of this crane, hit a button inside of there, and then they pretty much run back and wait for the event to die out. But regardless, there will be a hit here. It's going to be a Spitter, Jockey, Hunter, and a charger. So we could see a death charge. There's a few positions for you to be able to get one, and that Jockey could help the charger secure one of them.
I have a feeling the Team Silencio Jockeys are going to stand out here and wait for a hit and then probably go back, or actually, because that tank is so late, they could just push through it. This means that the special infected team is going to either have to try to go for the death charge in an area which isn't as good as what you might have seen before. I mean, if the survivors are paying attention at all, they should be able to clear this, but they're actually going to elect to go for a hit right now. Charger climbing up top, going in. That charger isn't going to land. We do have a pounce Spit landing along with a separation Jock, but the Spit actually fell through the pipes right there, so not a whole lot of damage going out. Pretty fast clears, and again, that area is much, much harder in my opinion to land that death charge if the survivors are paying attention at all. They killed the charger before it landed. Now they should be able to push the choke, maybe after another hit.
Indeed, as you mentioned earlier on, this tank, 87%, very, very late tank. There's Lewis, though, showing his jump skills, hopping across the gap and with his survivor comrades in tow, and they will be able to make that gap before the next hit even makes its way up. So they will be looking at the next SI hit, though, here coming up. Jockey, Hunter, Boomer, and a charger. Yet again, another charger, but they're going to go ahead and hold out in this area now instead.
They had the charger in the spawn queue because the charger that missed actually despawned, so theoretically that still could have been like a solo Bolo death charge, but again, because they jumped over, there really wasn't any room. Charger going for a free charge right there. Nice 21 damage pounce, however, landing onto Apathy. Jockey getting M2'd and shut down with a double boom going out in the back, and this is actually okay chip, I would say, coming out from Euonym so far. They've done just about 150 damage, I would say, from this total, and like that's not awful to have with a tank that's this late, but I think Ram is going to wait. Actually, he's going to pop his pills right now because they're going to get pills in the cabinet up ahead, so that's actually a better decision. I thought he was going to wait, but they should be able to get through this map without a whole lot more interference unless they eat like a big charge Spit here.
Yeah, there shouldn't be that many more big hits coming up. As you mentioned, they're going to be coming up on a lot of tight corridor areas, but there's a charger missing. 100 does manage to land out onto Bill there. Smoker ground to pull onto Francis in the back as well, and actually that was Lewis, my bad, who got pounced by that Hunter, but that will be the attack over and done with. Apathy taking a bit more damage, though, dropping down into the yellow, and Ram losing quite a bit of his health as well, being dropped down into the mid-50s already after popping a set of pills. So they will go ahead and look to set this tank off. I don't know if they're going to be able to do this before this next spawn gets up, though.
I have a feeling they might run it back, but the tank should be able to keep most of its control even if they do, because fighting inside, nice! Ski coming out by Ramirez onto K3 alone in the bottom right there. And the tank is up in the hands of the one and only Sir Please. And as I suspected, the survivors are going to run this back. I'm pretty sure they should be able to get outside, but as I also mentioned, the tank should be able to keep control and even potentially intercept them. I'm not entirely sure about that second part, but let's see, where is Sir at? Actually, Sir is just going to be trying them right now. The survivors are actually pushing back in, and the tank is there, so this is going to be the commit by Sir. He has them split up 2-2. Nice multi-punch on the stairwell right there. Huge lack of judgment from Team Silencio Jockies on the survivor side. Sir doing work right now. He has one stuck in the ceiling. There's the in cap going out. Turning back around, there's a separation Jock on to Acer, and there's the pull going out onto Bill as well. I think what they were trying to do, beautiful tri-cap by Euonym, is that Silencio Jockies went back, thought the tank was going to intercept them and then push forward, but Sir was actually trailing them, as I mentioned. He was nowhere near AI. Beautiful tank play by him. He got that separation, and there's your wipe.
Yeah, that was exactly what I was thinking that entire time. Like, they just misread where that tank was. 100% they were definitely trying to juke him out. And yeah, just reiterating on what Rail said, what they were trying to do was pretty much juke the tank backwards through the office building. But what a lot of tanks do there in that area in specific is they'll actually run outside and just climb upside and come in behind the survivors and try to cut them off. But obviously that tank was actually running in from the front, or I guess what you could so call the front of the survivors, and they ended up running right back down the staircase into them, and they were like, oh, we messed up. And
yeah,
that, you know, definitely spelled the end of them there, as we saw. So that will be a wipe going out to Silencio Jockies. Now Euonym in a position to make a comeback happen yet again. This is a best of 1, maps 1 through 5. So we are on the second half, guys. Yet again, thank you very much for tuning in. You are watching the Bleed Out Tournament round number 7, the final round of the group stage for all of the teams. Next week we will be having a show match, which is to be announced, and we will also be having some tiebreakers that determine our top 16 teams, and then we will move on to a double elim bracket stage, which should be very, very interesting.
Ready up!
Oh, it's me? Oh god, I did it, boys. Now that they got re-ready, there we go. I didn't even know it was me.
It's alright, it's alright. And yes, kissing the saying, that is going to be the top 16 teams playing after next week, because next week is a little bit of a break. We do have some tiebreaker matches, plus that aforementioned show match, which has not yet been announced in detail yet. But this, right here, for this game we have in front of us, this is a huge chance for Team Euonym to make something out of that wipe if they're able to mitigate the damage. We do have a hit coming in on this witch play, though. Jockey's going to get skeeted, double boom going out into the survivors right there. Hunter is still up, and that boomer is also trolling, going to get a proxy for the tri-boom, and the Witch is doing some calisthenics on that fence, and now is going to come back inside, swiping around really, really angrily, but is going to get crowned without a whole lot of hassle. Again, just a little bit of chip damage, but I think that was also a pretty good call by the Special Infected, because they might just have the entire hit up by the time the survivors are up top. I think the survivors are anticipating that, though, and they're going to try to push before everything is up, and they should be able to beat it.
Yeah, they should definitely have been in a good position, except Survivor's actually dropping off of the fire escape for some reason as they make their way back up. Charger does get shut down up front, though, by the 2 Survivors up there. Hunter missing his DP out onto Sir in the back, and that will be the attack for right now thwarted. But this Hunter might still want to make his way in from behind. He's currently crouching there, killing off some common that are trailing Sir, but he will think otherwise and just look like, or it looks like he's just going to hold this.
The charger got leveled, so the rest of the hit's going to be without a charger, at least if spawns are accurate. Indeed they are. It's going to be another 2-2 for when the survivors push back inside. Actually deciding to take it up top right here, at least for the time being. Maybe they'll try to run back, but we do have a hit coming in from Team Silencio Jockies. Boomer getting nicely popped. We do have a pounce landing with a spit on top of that. Jockey's going to get a little bit of damage as well, but again, pretty much just chip damage off of that, and honestly, the survivors could elect to push right now, but in the situation that they're in, they can just, honestly, since they're not bleeding, just sit there the entire time and kill all the horde.
Yeah, they're not in a bad position at all. Once again, they could move forward here, as we do see a very late tank, as seen on the previous half. But I'm sure they're more than content with them, or more than content with just sitting here. But it looks like we might have a hit coming in onto Knock here in a couple seconds. Hunter making his way in, moving his way through the doorway. Smoker looks to pull onto Zoe, not going to find Jockey. Does find a latch out onto Lewis, though, and the Smoker will get shot in the face by Zoe over in the bathroom, or slash hallway, I should say. But with that attack going down, it looks like Euonym's going to take this opportunity to cross the event here.
Honestly, right now, their survivors looking night and day from map 1. Like, they are on point. They're shutting pretty much everything down. They haven't really taken that much damage whatsoever. They did a better job putting damage out onto Team Silencio Jockies. By this point in the map, they're only down by less than 600 points right now. That's before the tank fight, and obviously they still have a chance to make this map, and they're playing it very, very positionally well so far, I would say. Everyone's clearing everything, and no one's making a huge mistake. We do have another hit coming in right now. Silencio Jockies sending it in. We do have that Jockey landing, Hunter landing as well for an 18 damage pounce. The spit, however, is barely going to miss to Francis's outside. So that was the most damage of this chapter we've seen come out from Team Silencio Jockeys. But again, Euonym doing a pretty good job of that mitigation, and they are going to have control of where they want to fight this tank. What do you think they should do, Kessie? You think they should go back or take it in the offices?
I would say, yeah, just hunker down and just take in the office, because you don't want to risk, missing or messing up on that 50-50 call and, running backwards or forwards into the tank. So I'd rather, just clear out the area, hunker down, and just, prepare to fight it in the offices. I think that's a safer bet. But we see attack coming in there. Boomer landing out onto Zoe, or I should say, yeah, it did land. Hunter got skied, though. Charger landing out onto Bill up front, and then will be the attack over and dealt with. And we'll see the survivors make their way to the impending tank up ahead here. And really, just it's going to really depend on what they want to do here, though. But they're going to either take that 50-50 shot, or they're going to play it safe.
Honestly, if I'm in their position, for some reason, I hate the offices when it's on Ace mod.
Oh, I do
because,
too.
Yeah, there's no slowdown on the tank, and it's going to be an Acer tank here, 14 Silencio Jockeys. I think they are going to take their chance with the run back. Either that, or they're going to try to do the exact same thing and pray to God that the tank actually tries to go and cut them off. And the tank actually has moved back to cut them off, and I think the survivors are aware of that. So they're going to chill in the offices for this. Interesting way to see those two separate tanks playing out. And the Survivor team are in a pretty good way right now. This tank is going to try to force his way up, I'm pretty sure, but he has a little bit more to go, just one more floor, I think, before he actually gets in right there. He should be on second pass, but he's going to be forced to commit with this hit here. Gets me Charger, Jockey, and a Smoker.
Yeah, he doesn't have really any choice then to go in with that, as you mentioned. So let's see what he can make happen here. Once again, tank in the hands of Acer for Team Silencio Jockeys. Big tank here, as they just wiped down the previous half in this exact same tank and area for that matter. But he's going to go ahead and push it away in, looking for corner onto Francis. Does grab the first punch, looking for a second. Not able to grab just yet. Oh, he actually missed the one on top of him on the divider. But
wow.
He will go ahead and hop over the divide now, grab another punch onto Francis. He did manage to pop a set of bills out. There's a Jockey latching onto Bill, though. Francis gets pinned inside of the rooftop, or the ceiling, I should say. There's a Smoker and Jockey both capping two of the survivors. Not able to get the clear on the Jockey is Lewis, and that's going to be the wipe. And that Jockey, how much HP? 124 HP.
That is so unfortunate. That tank looked absolutely I thought that was going to be a shutdown, honestly, because of he was down to 3k HP, and he managed to miss that corner onto Sarah for a second. But then that Smoker and Jockey landing, I don't know how much health that Smoker had left, but Dawkins was unable to get the self-clear. Still a really tight game, but I'm disappointed if I'm Team Euonym after that, because again, they got that beautiful wipe. And those separation pinners like that in an area like that where it's okay, if one of these doesn't land, then that tank is going to get maybe an in-cap, maybe two down, something like that, and they still make the safe room. But because that two-cap landed and Lewis was unable to clear it, that's really, really, really unfortunate for them. But again, good play by Silencio Jockeys, taking advantage of that inside area, and again, demonstrating why I personally hate not just map 2, but especially inside the offices when there's Ace mod there. So
yeah, that was very unfortunate for them. That was a big opportunity for them as well, not only to make up the points that they were down going into the round, but to also obviously take the lead. And with that being said, we're going live into the third map here. Yet again, a best of 5 maps. We are on the third map, so we're at basically the halfway point at this point in time, or at least when one of these halves gets played, then it'll be the halfway point. Got to be politically correct with the 2.5 there.
Exactly. So let's see what this first stick can do. Hunter, Boomer, Jockey, and the Spitter, 4 team at Euonym right here. And this thing's going to be at 29%. That's a give or take area, I'd say. Hittables are going to be a big, big part of that. We do have a Jockey landing outside. Hunter's actually stuck in the scaffolding for a second, but now he's going to land on Survivor, who's pounced and spit. That's going to be a lot of damage going out onto Apathy right there. He does manage, actually, he got Godfrey from that or something. Either that or the spit wore off. I thought that was going to be a lot more. But a good amount of chip damage coming from that, nonetheless.
Yeah, I think that had a lot of Godframes for some reason on that get-up animation. But yeah, as you were mentioning, Star's just going to keep moving the way through the map, though. Obviously taking that first hit actually quite hard, but I'm really surprised Apathy didn't take that much damage. Looking at it, he should take at least 40.
Right, that's what I thought too, where he was a little bit common locked, but I think he must have had, because the spit a little bit beforehand, it didn't do the maximum damage, even though it could have technically been pre-spit, and then he got some kind of God frames. Jockey going in, Hunter managing to land, Charger gets obliterated, and the spit's actually going to go right through that scaffolding and not able to land, and the tank should be up. I would say if the survivors get too close to the event, it could trigger it, and they indeed do get close enough to trigger it before setting the cans on fire, and the tank for Team Euonym is up into the hands of Dawkins himself. Because that barricade isn't down, He's going to have maybe a little bit more difficulty getting hittables in or something like that, but this could still do a lot of damage depending on whether or not he's able to get the survivors separated. Again, if they stay up top, it favors them, but as long as they don't either, one, get multi-boomed or two, get separated, they should be okay. Boomer lands a single. We do have a Jockey managing to get M2'd as the smoker goes out right there. Does get cleared, and Dawkins is still not very close to them.
Yeah, he had a bit of a hard time making that first jump over onto the fire escape. He's going to go ahead and try again, though. But these Uzis are railing into him, dropping down around 400 HP already. So really nice ship here coming up from the two Uzis of Team Silencio Jockeys. And once again, they're only up by a sliver. They're up by like 400 points coming to the third map. So incredibly close game as it stands right now. Once again, pretty much a do or somewhat don't here for Team Euonym. So they have to make the most of this game. And Dawkins just drop in now, finally going to start working with his hittables. And let's see what he can make happen.
Let's see, he's going to have a Charger Hunter and a Smoker for the support right here. He's already down to under 4k HP, still trying to get those hittables into play. That hittable is up top, other one bouncing around to the left-hand side, and the Survivors are absolutely railing him from inside the scaffolding right there. He is going to try to keep chasing, but he's got absolutely nothing right now. Smoker does get a pull right there. Charger can't spawn, and Dawkins going to miss that punch, and that's going to be a one-hitter. Charger does land to complete the 2-cap, but oh my goodness, that was very, very similar in my opinion to the way that we saw the map 1 tank go for Team Silencio Jockeys on Survivor, where they were able to just use the map to their advantage, kite it around, and only a one-hitter tank right there is not what you want to see if you're Team Euonym at all.
Yeah, we've seen some massive tanks happen on this map in previous tournaments, and that was probably, you know, for him and both the team, a real blow to them. Once again, that's just really unfortunate that that happened. It's hard to articulate the words because I understand what he must be feeling with that tank, because it's very rough. If you don't have good SI support, it really doesn't help at anything. And Survivor just got so much pre-chip before he even got the chance to commit there. So very unfortunate for him, and that will be all they wrote for that tank. Obviously, Hunter looking for DP here, not going to find a Boomer as well, getting popped before it can even get a boom off. And I keep thinking about the old tactic in L4D2 1 that teams used to do with this event. They would actually, back when we saw Molotovs, they'd throw Molotov from the first alleyway onto the event and then just stay in the safe room for the entire event. I remember those days.
I've seen that. I didn't play at that time, but I saw examples of that happening.
That was pretty sick. That was when that meta was invented. That's when everyone was like, all right, we gotta get rid of these freaking Molotovs.
Yeah, exactly, because it was a little game-breaking. Charger Spitter, Boomer, and 100 tiers for Team Euonym, and honestly, they have to get a lot of damage right here, an inordinate amount in my opinion, because that tank wasn't able to do much of anything. The big part about it, as you mentioned, was the fact that the Survivors were able to put so much pressure on him as he got close. That's really what made or broke it. We do have a Charger going in, trying to lead in, not going to land. We do have a Pounce going down, but the Spit is actually going to shoot in a different direction and not land on the pair to maximize that damage. And if you have to point to a level, like, of separation between the two teams about one thing in this game, I would say it's probably that tank. Like, I know I'm a little bit early to speak for that because we could see a similar shutdown going out, but Silencio Jockeys are absolutely rolling after that. They have all the momentum on their side, and it's going to be very hard to stop them at this point.
Yeah, they're on a roll as it stands right now. They have a massive 877 health bonus, all the pills to throw around, and you know, Apathy is going to be on a life of pills at this point. He could just literally keep going with them. But regardless, there'll be another SI hit coming up here. It's going to be a Boomer, Smoker, Jockey, and a Charger. So quite a devastating hit, though. Obviously, there is no Spitter, but with that boom and all of that separation, they can make a big hit here happen with all these corridors. But Jockey shut down, Boomer shut down, Charger leveled upon connecting, and that Smoker will grab one scratch, and actually it's the pull on the Zoe. But that will be all that was given from that hit, and the Silencio Jockeys will make quick work of this outside area, jumping over the airplane wing and making their way through the car parking lot, which should hold probably one last hit if they move quick enough.
Have an absolutely outstanding bonus right now, and obviously because no one's taking an in-cap as well, that's extremely impressive on a map like this. But besides that fact, like, even on that last hit, there was no Spitter to maximize that. It was a little bit staggered. Everything got shut down, and they shut down this hit right here. They could make the safe room. Beautiful pop going out by Ramirez onto that Boomer. We do have a Hunter landing for a little bit of damage, the Spit going down on top of that as well. Jockey's gonna manage to land onto Ram. That's a good amount of damage going out for a 2-2, especially in that area. Everything just kind of stacking on Ramirez, but again, no in-cap, only one other set of pills committed. They still have Stoopy and Avocado with a lot of health, and this is going to be a nasty bonus, I think. Like, this is not going to be good for Team Euonym at all.
Yeah, that was indeed very nasty, dropping the health bonus of Silencio Jockeys 90 points, but they still have a massive dirty health bonus to work with. Smoker getting blown up in the back. Boomer popped on top of Lewis. Hunter looking for a scratch here, as that's all he can really muster. Does actually miss the scratch. I think he didn't get a scratch, did he?
I don't believe so. I'm not entirely sure, but it wasn't really. It's kind of inconsequential. This is actually one of the larger bonuses I think I've seen on Acemon on this map. They're going to close that door and finish with an absolutely, like, spectacular 760-point health bonus for this map, bringing their total to 2,557 points. And as I alluded to there, Kiss Me, even at the start, we could see bonuses like this being made, but that tank shutdown, I would say, where one of the spawns wasn't even able to go in, might indeed be the crux of this game.
That was a very nasty bonus there from Team Silencio, Jockies. That's dirty. That needs a bath. That's dirty. That's the best way I could put that. But yeah, regardless, they're gonna walk away in the safe from there. Really just blowing this round open, and now it's all up to you now to pretty much answer here with that same health bonus. And once again, they were only 400 points down coming into this round here, so they're not all out of it just yet, but they have to be able to answer the health bonus that we just saw Silencio Jockies throw down there. And so we'll see Euonym switch over to Survivor half here, making the way outside safe. Nice double cap happening with the Jockey and Hunter. Hunter inside the safe room. Jockey dragging Zoe around the corner. Francis hoarded up by the common, not be able to get the quickest clear there. And Dawkins will end up taking around 30 damage from that first hit. And then you also have Sir, who was kind of bathing in the spit there for a bit, with K3 being pounced. And they do finally get the clears out, make their way over the fence with the ramp. I really don't know why the ramp is there. Is it just so, like, for chargers?
I'm not entirely sure, but it definitely does add some nice aesthetic right there. Rube Goldberging the shit out of that choke for some reason. And I mean, if that's how we're going to see Team Silencio Jockies hitting as well, where they pretty much landed every pinner that they could have on that first 2-2, then that's not going to bode well, I would say, for Team Euonym. Let's see where they decide to take this event as well. They do manage to pop that boomer. Hunter Charger Jockey coming in. Hunter going for the DP, not going to land, but manages to tackle Sir on top of the concrete supports right there. We do have that Charger getting nicely leveled. So again, Euonym definitely not out of it, but they're going to have to replicate that. And Kissman, you probably know a little bit more about this than I do, but how would you say that tank wants to maximize damage in that area, besides just saying, okay, he needs to use hittables?
Not so much focusing on hittables, but definitely placement, because it cuts off where the stars can go a lot of time. What you really want to try and do is you want to try and aim one of the hittables up top towards the water tower or whatever that thing is. I think it's like a makeshift crane that was being assembled or something.
Yes, yeah.
That's what I think it is, at least. But regardless, you want to try and put one of the hittables up there in that position, try to get the survivors off of that top area, and then you want to dump one right behind it, pretty much. And it kind of puts the survivors into the corner where Francis is right now, and it allows you to get some better spawns that can come from the windows up above, come from the scaffolding on the side of that building where Bill is right now. And it really just opens up more spawns for your SI to work with, and you also don't get railed down personally because, you know, obviously the stars are standing up there, and they're not going to stand there if there's a dumpster there.
Yeah.
So, hittable placement is definitely key in this area, in my opinion. It really corners off where the survivors can actually go and where they feel safe playing the tank. And then also, once again, will cut down on that early chip and whatnot. So I think that has a big thing to do with it. But other than that, I think a boomer in this area is really detrimental.
Really good, yeah.
The Horde spawn is some of the dumbest places I've ever seen actual Horde spawn, so... Let's see what they can make happen here. The tank will spawn momentarily the moment pretty much they drop down from where they are right now. Charger whiffs there. Hunter misses the pounce. Boomer looking for something. But everyone's really just staring at him right now. And he's actually going to walk around, gets a double boom.
As the tank spawns as well. Oh my goodness. And the tank is up in the hands of Estupi himself for Team Silencio Jockies. And I kind of want to mention a little bit of a discrepancy right there because Team Silencio Jockies were able to take the tank prior to the event, whereas Team Euonym's going into the tank fight now having taken damage at the event. And it might sound like a small thing, but if Dawkins commits his kills, he'll be bleeding out and they could try to play a little bit of a rock tank. And it also helps the mobility of the tank just a little bit because now he doesn't have to worry about that barricade. And indeed, they have a pull going forward. Jockey going on to Dawkins as well. Nobody cleared him, but the tank missed the hittable. That is going to be the in-cap going out onto him. Huge misplay from Team Euonym right there. And the tank is going to come in. The survivors were trying to focus the SI and did notice the tank climbing up. The tank is in the middle of it right now, trying to get another punch onto Francis, is going to get it. That should be a full in-cap going out, unless he gets juked out here. He actually did get juked. Nice skeet going out onto that Hunter as the separation pull goes out as well. Weird tank fight so far. Tank's gonna go for a hittable right here, magic now to land it onto K3. Hittable's gonna go in, not gonna land onto that ladder, but he should be able to grind Dawkins to death. He's gonna keep knocking that hittable around right there. One more hit on Dawkins should do it right here from the Stupi's tank. And he's going to push in, get another punch onto Francis. That's going to be the in-cap on the knock. One survivor left up, and you mentioned it, Kiss Me. It was pretty much either hittables and their positioning or a misplay on the part of the survivors. There's a boom landing onto Sir. Corner going out, and a Stupi is going to get this wipe in pretty nice fashion. That hittable does miss. but he is going to be able to punch Sir down. And that was all about that separation that Dawkins was just too far forward.
Yeah, that was really unfortunate. I'm not too sure why he was so far forward, and or maybe his team just was further back than you know, what was originally called. But regardless, it's going to be a wipe going on to Team Euonym, and they're going to be down by a massive 626 points going into map 4.
1,600.
So, it's 1,600?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, did I lie? What did I say?
You said 600. You said 600.
Oh, I said 600. I must have, yeah, definitely a miscalculation on my part, or I just misread the scores. I probably saw a 15 instead of a 2,500. But
yeah.
Regardless, survivors will be in the hands of Silencio Jockies yet again. That's a massive score difference, and for these two maps to make that up, you're really hoping on a miracle at this point, because I don't know. This is rough to watch because Team Euonym, very rough tournament for them. They had some very hard matchups, and to see them pretty much put on the chopping block for a 50-50 chance, that's, you know, it's rough to see. That's why my mind's like reeling right now. It's like, you know, it doesn't feel right.
The other problem is, again, they got that situation where one team with a better record was paired down against them. Like, they were the 4-2 team to play the team with a 5-1 record. Nice shutdown going to that Jockey and Charger. A little bit of a single spawn Reno going out right there. We do have a single boom going out onto Ramirez. The tank is going to be relatively early as well. And if they got a wipe right here, then it would be pretty good, I would say, for them. But again, it's not going to be anything guaranteed in terms of making up that distance, despite the fact that the event no longer exists. And the tank for Team Euonym is up into the hands of Nocturnal himself. And he might actually decide to commit this right here. It looks like he's thinking about it, and he is actually going to go in. His support's going to be a Smoker looking for an early pull right now. Going to miss it onto Ramirez. He's already down to about 4,000 HP as he gets into the safe room. Missing that first punch. Survivors cutting him around. He gets a nice ladder punch up there, however. Jockey going in, managing to land. Charger's looking for a cover right here, but the Jockey got cleared. Charger goes in. Smoker cannot land anything in that safe room. And it looks as though the tank's going to work his way back around, actually having that punch register on the ladder. Another punch whipping right there. And that's only one in cap coming out from that tank there. Kissimmee, questionable decision, in my opinion, to have a Smoker for that.
That was a lot less than it should have been, in my opinion. With a tank of that nature and that position that they got pushed back into, that should have been a lot more damage. The SI should have been much more helpful as well, but unfortunately with that closing area, as you mentioned, Smoker not the best for that area, because if the survivors are just moving up top, that tongue is going to continually get cut on those rungs that are, you know, going up, vertical. But regardless, Boomer going in the front here, going to land a single boom out, and Lewis caused the Horde to actually spawn in the room behind Bill somewhat. Hunter Charger going towards Bill, or Lewis I should say, will find the pin with that Hunter, but everything else being shut down, and that is, you know, temporary being cut down here for Team Silencio Jockies. But Euonym, they need more than that.
Yeah, and for some reason K3, I'm not really sure what that was about, but Team Silencio Jockey should be able to blitz this event right here. They're going to run the van into the Witch, which should not kill her, because that van shoots clip right through, but they could honestly push this after they take a hit. Boomer's going to spawn up above right there, gets an arc boom down onto one survivor, Smoker, Hunter, and a Charger for the rest of the hit. Charger going in is going to whiff right there. Smoker's going in, managed to get the separation pulled. Nice skeet, though. As Aether got freed from that tongue, he managed to pop that Hunter in the face, and they should be able to push this at this point, unless Stoopy gets hard in the back, but they should still be able to push it, even though that hits down.
Indeed, they should. We'll see Apathy go for the Witch Crown here. We'll get the running crown on top of it, so that will be the Witch over and done with. The survivors in the back are getting a little bit of common lock here, but with 3 of them and some melees, they should be able to work their way through it. So let's see how quickly they move through the rest of this event. Next hit coming up, though, it's going to be a Hunter, Spitter, Charger, and a Jockey here. 14 Euonym. Attack running gets away in. Charger whiffing completely out onto, I believe that is Bill and Zoe up front. Jockey is well being shut down. Hunter managed to land, though, but the spit was already spat in the middle of the area in front of him. So that will be no spit damage coming out on that hit. Spitter's going to go ahead and despawn here. That does open up the big possibility of a 2-2 here for the next hit, since they are saving that spit.
Yeah, but I would say a 2-2 in this area might not even do them too well if they don't have a Charger go along with it, and they're not going to have it. It's going to be a Jockey, Spitter, Smoker, and a Boomer. So again, as long as survivors don't get really separated, this is going to be a hit and a half to the safe room, I'm pretty sure. Jockey spawning up in the back right there, trying to go in, is going to get skied out of the sky. Smoker goes in as well, and the Spitter did pre-spawn. Boomer spawning up there as well, but both those supports getting shut down. 2 boom does manage to land, however, and the survivors should be able to push through that before it hits really up. And like I said a hit and a half because these spawns are going to have maybe, like, I don't know, 5 seconds to get in the right place, because even though this event is like nixed, there are a couple of spawn points, but it's going to be a rush hit.
Yeah, as soon as that Jockey and Smoker went in the back there, we just knew that it was going to be a very rushed hit for the next one, as those spawns really weren't what you want to work with. But regardless, we'll see the next hit coming up now as survivors have actually slowed down for some reason. I mean, they did hear the Hunter spawning from the background, but they should keep moving forward for the most part. But Charger working his way in, going to completely whiff the charge out, get shut down. Hunter manages to land out the Zoe, but the spitter doesn't even get the spit off, and Jockey's left all alone here, bouncing around, getting killed off there by Ramirez.
Bonus, though.
Yeah, that's I don't even want to press my health bonus key. That's going to be massive. And K3 saying, I hate tryhards, as Silencio Jockies make their way into the safe room with a 640 health bonus. Second map in a row.
Out of a past 1,060, that's the part.
Yeah,
that's the part that gets to me.
Second map in a row where they've made it with over half the health bonus that's possible for the map. And that is just something else here, especially in this Week 7 game. So Silencio Jockies really just showing dominance at this point. And I'm sure we're going to see, definitely... This could be a wipe tank. Once again, this is a very rough tank, especially in this little safe room. If you get a boom and you can land on 2 of the survivors before that tank actually gets into the safe room, that horde just rushes in from all sides of the safe room. And, yeah, it's a massacre in there, to say the least. And hopefully they don't hold the smoker. Hopefully they throw it away.
Yeah, like, I could see this going really, really badly if some kind of odd multi-boom lands as well. Let's see what they can do with this. Smoker does get shut down. Charter manages to land. Nice quad boom going out. Dawkins' Jockey forward right here. He is finally going to get cleared, but I would say honestly he could decide to like intercept them if they get split up right here, and that's exactly what I think he's going to do, because that boom's still out. He's gonna miss that first punch, though. Apathy for the Silencio Jockeys right here. He's gonna get that initial corner on the knock, who actually is stuck in the ceiling. He is gonna get out of that via being warped out right there, but he is still in a pretty tough position. He's doing a nice job juking this tank. This tank is getting absolutely juked out by Nocturnal right there for 2 or 3 punches, but the tank is still in. Getting a punch onto Dawkins, another punch, nice double charge landing, lots of damage going out onto Team Euonym right here. There's your in-cap tank, turning around, breaking the safe room door, getting Dawkins in the corner. That separation pole does go out up top as well. He's gonna go push the survivor in the safe room right here, does manage to get the corner onto him. He's being shot at the same time. There's the in-cap going on to Sir, so 3 in-caps going out onto Euonym already. Apathy's tank still kind of crouching on top. He has 56 HP left, so he can't even go back in to cover that. He's gonna try, but he's gonna get shut down. But that is a colossal amount of damage going out onto Team Euonym.
And that is just the massacre that you see when the teams go back towards the safe room on this map. You just gotta try and push forward, get into one of the rooms up ahead, and cut down the spawns and the number of entries that the SI and Common have. But there's a Charger working his way in the safe room. Does get nicely leveled, though, by Avocado. Or by K3, I should say. My God, I hate how things change on servers. But Smoker gets shut down. Boomer goes in, lands a double boom out to 2 survivors inside the safe room. Gonna draw some horde in, but the down survivors outside the safe room actually have the spawns for the most part blocked. So that's gonna be pretty much a huge workaround here for the Common. Hunter going in, grabs 1 scratch onto Lewis and then runs away. A little bit of a troll Hunter coming out here from a Soupy.
Yeah, honestly, this is how beat up you expect survivors to be if even, like, what, half of the support lands, depending on that. And I think that decision to commit in with the quad boom still wearing off was a really, really good call by Apathy. Obviously, he got a little bit juked out there. That would have been a wipe, but he landed the majority of his punches. He managed to get that initial intercept, and now we do see it going out. Beautiful tri-cap going on to Team Euonym, and we are seeing why Silencio Jockeys are 5-1 in this tournament. Kiss me. That was another spectacular hit. It happened so fast, and Dawkins is saying nice hit after that.
That was absolutely beautiful, as you mentioned, and that's going to take away all the temporary health that we saw on Team Euonym, and they're going to be just bleeding out here for the rest of the game, or at least this map, if they even decide to play the finale at this point. And that's the one good thing about Dead Air. It's a very quick campaign. I mean, this cast is probably like 35 minutes long right now. But attack coming here in the back. Nice scratch down on the Bill with the Jockey, pulling Francis around. The Smoker will be a little late to the party, though. Charger looks right in cap onto the Francis. Does grab with 2 punches, and that will be 2 incaps in the back as Zoe is just getting hoarded. I think Zoe went for the crown.
She shot the witch.
Yeah, I think Zoe...
No. I don't think she yes, the witch is still running around, I believe, because of that path still being blocked off. So the witch is on her way. She's going all the way around. She's actually near the safe room right now, and she could vault down. Dawkins knows that she's still coming, and let's see. She's swiping around a lot. She's climbing over a couple of rocks, back and forth right now. Did just unstick, though, kind of, and now she has reached her way to the railing. Nice charge going right there. Now the witch has decided to make her way in, and this should be the wipe And let's see, the Wish has found its way to Dawkins finally. There's the pin in the corner, and there's your GGWP going out. A little bit of a dissension right there from Team Euonym, but I believe the 4v3 finale might be the call. Either that or the GG going out. They're saying they want me to sub, but I unfortunately can't do that. I'm casting right now because we just saw Team Silencio Jockies defeat Team Euonym 36-97 to 11-23 in a beautiful showing. That's going to put them at 6-1, and it's going to secure their spot at the very tip top of that elimination bracket standing.
Indeed, it will. Once again, they're going to be skyrocketed up to a record of 6-1 here, actually. So that's actually a really nice place to be because as it stands right now, Serenity still has their match to play, and if they do win it, they're going to be 7-0. The team that they're playing, I think they're playing Evo this week. Yeah, actually, they already played earlier today. I won't spoil who won, but regardless.
What do you mean who won?
I won't spoil who won, okay? Don't spoil it, Rose. No matter what I said, don't spoil it.
The tournament one, I'm pretty sure.
Well, the tournament always wins, but regardless, we will be seeing them skyrocket up to a score of 6-1, which puts them in the top 3, I believe, because yeah, they're in the top 3 seeds right now. Not too sure what seed exactly they're going to be, but whoever wins HTP versus EOS, they'll be also in the top 3, and then Serenity is already guaranteed a spot in the top 3. So, congratulations to Silencio Jockies. You are either 2nd or 3rd seed in the brackets. I can tell you that right now.
Serenity, HTP, EOS.